Hello, y'all. I'm on my chess.com account where I just reached a score of 4,600. That is pretty impressive. However, I actually have lost some global rank recently. I was about, 1,600 the last time I was on making a video for y'all. Now I'm about 1,800. That being said, I have gotten to a new peak, which is always impressive, and this is going to be my new series called Road to 5K. Alright, let's go play some puzzles. Alright, I just hopped into a pool. Let's see. Oh, I already solved this one. So, this is going to be kind of informative as well. This one, of course, is an attraction sacrifice puzzle, but I'm going to ramble on just a minute just so y'all can catch up. Um, it's weird. I think we started with an attraction sacrifice, the last one too. This series is going to be more educational. Yes, we're going to be grinding to 5,000 elo on chess.com puzzles. However, we're going to be doing it while giving tips and tricks to solve these puzzles. Here, I immediately noticed we were down material, so I thought two things. Okay, we either have to checkmate or have to win material back. And I looked for the latter just because, bishop knight checkmate is super, super difficult. Even as an 1800 on chess.com, I really, really struggle with it. I can maybe do it in classical tournaments where I have, 10 or more minutes on the clock and I can really think through every move. I can do the W pattern pretty well, but nevertheless, um, this one I thought, okay, we have to win material. Here, of course, it's an attraction sacrifice. We sacrifice the bishop and win the queen off of a fork. Alright, very nice. And yeah, I've been playing a little bit. You can see I have a 10 in a row streak. Don't worry about that. That really doesn't matter. Here we can drive the king kind of further out into the position. We can play rook to f8. And he has two squares with the king. He has no other moves. So let's calculate g1 first, because I think it's easiest. I think we just play e1 mate, rook e1 mate. And let's calculate g3. So king g3, and then we can play bishop to e5. That's a check. He's forced to one of two squares again. If he goes to the corner, it's rook h6 mate. If he goes to h4, is it still rook to h4 mate? No, it's not mate, which is unfortunate. Okay, I honestly can't calculate that long of a sequence, but this seems right because it's a very forcing sequence. I don't see anything else. What if we start out with bishop to d4 check? Forces him up or over. No, it just doesn't look right. I'm gonna go with it. Yep. No other decent check. No. Okay, this is where I was struggling. Now, there is an interesting move here. I could play bishop to f4, and it's not a forced mate because he can sacrifice his rook on e1, pinning my rook to my king. So then I would be forced to take his rook. Now, is that the right answer, or do we just have checkmate? Let's see. If I play rook to h6 first, he goes king g5. Maybe I go rook to g6 check. It forces him back to the h file. And then I can maybe play bishop back. Like bishop back to f6. But then he can move the pawn up. But then I can take the pawn. Ooh, really scary stuff. Okay, so do I go for obvious material? Or do I go for nearly checkmate? I'm almost certain it would lead to a checkmate. I'm just not sure how. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. The alternative move is to play bishop to f4, but I'm gonna go for this rook move because I have big ambitions, and it's right. Now, I think the move is supposed to be rook to g6. But it could also be bishop to f4. I didn't see that the bishop was protected there, which it is. I thought he could just take the bishop with the king, but that is checkmate, actually. Wow. Long sequence. I'm sorry if that took me a while. And that's another thing. I might not win all of these. This is my rated puzzle, so, you know, I could lose a couple. Here, I think we can just take the rook in the corner. It's worth noting that we're about to get mated. We're one move away from getting mated, so we kind of have to do something. Let's see. I don't see another move that leads to anything after taking the rook. So after rook takes, we go king a7. And then I think the move that's supposed to be obvious is bishop to c7. And after he blocks, we can actually block the checkmate threat on us by going bishop to f2. Now that's an interesting move. I'm not sure if it works. We don't have checkmate in the position, so that must be the right answer. Yeah. Oh, wow, and he sacrifices? I didn't expect this move. So whenever you're not expecting something, you should take a second. Just make sure everything is okay. I think the move that we have to play is to take the rook. And then after queen takes pawn, we go king to e3. I think that's the sequence. Okay. And it stops the puzzle right there. Let's see. Do we just take the knight? So, if you notice, the pawn is pinned to the queen, the enemy queen, on c5. So, we can actually just take the knight with our queen. But I noticed that his king's a little, a little exposed. It's worth taking just a second just to figure out whether or not, we can just outright win the game. I don't think we can. I'm looking at every check, even the ones that don't look right, like queen takes g7, rook e8. I don't see follow-ups to them. So I think because it's a thematic puzzle, we can just take the pawn. Or take the knight, and then take the queen. Very nice. Okay, queens are having a staring contest. Question is, do we actually want to trade queens? So after knight takes, what are we threatening? So the thing is that I see the fork. It's like a center fork trick almost on e4. We can take e4, and then we are forking the bishop and the knight. But we can't do that if we trade queens, I don't think. But if we let him take our queen, we can recapture with the bishop, and then the threat is still there. So we have to take first. Right. Okay. order of operations. And then we'll just do a couple more. I see we're at 10 minutes already. I'll try and get these videos to around 15 minutes or so. The last one was a little longer, just because I was having so much fun. Oh, you can't be playing that. Well, I immediately see he doesn't have an F-pawn. I immediately see that I want to go queen to h4 check. Now, it's always worth trying to actually figure out the sequence in these situations. It's checkmate, I'm almost certain of it, but he has a couple of moves. Now, if he goes to f1, it's checkmate in 1 with queen to f2. If he goes to e2, it is also checkmate in 1. Okay. Always take your time with these puzzles. Although I knew it was the right answer, I did not rush. Alright, let's keep going. That one was easy. Let's see, we do have a check. We have a check on f3. It is also worth noting that we do have a check on c2 also, which is a fork. I think the f3 check appealed to me right away. I'm not sure why. I do think the other check is probably better now that I'm looking at it. Not only does it prevent his king from going to f2 because our bishop's out, which, you know, allows for easier checkmate sequences, but then we have a nice little checkmate, I think. Or at least it maybe makes it difficult for him. Okay, so let's go through the sequence. I want to go knight to c2, king to f1, and then I want to play bishop takes h3, rook takes h3, queen takes h3, and that's checkmate. Does he have to take with the rook? I don't see another move. So that must be right. Now, if he takes with the queen, I guess we just win the queen. Wow, that's incorrect. Why is that incorrect? Can we do the same sequence, but he can't take the knight? Oh, that must be it. Wow. That's unfortunate. Man, I had such a good streak going. But it's fine. We will continue. Okay, we do have a check on g6. Is that what I want to play? So g6, queen blocks. We could take the pawn on e6 if rook blocks. We can take the other pawn. Huh. Okay, I think this is a pendulum swing puzzle where we have to go from one side of the board to the other. Right, and now I think the move is to take on c6. And then he's probably going to block with something or just move his queen or move his king. If he moves his king to f6, we pendulum swing to the other side of the board, h6. And then the puzzle probably ends there. Let's see. Yep. Now I want to go over here. I can also just take the rook. Now that I'm here and seeing it. I mean, that has to be the right answer. If he blocks with the queen, I can play rook to d1. Or d8, I'm sorry. Wow, the puzzle keeps going. Well, I guess now I can take the knight. Okay. Usually the puzzles don't go on for that long. So I see we're at 15 minutes. Let's do one more, because I like puzzles. Here, I think it's just take the pawn, and we're threatening the knight. If he gives us a check with the queen, we bring the bishop back, attack the queen again, and we're just winning a piece. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.